Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Magical Human Show. I might have to sit back so you can actually see me. It is a beautiful sunny day out there, which, after all the rain we've had for weeks, is, well, I shouldn't say weeks, it's probably been about a week, but it certainly brought in the autumn weather and vibration. So, this is June. Hello, June.
Hi.
And we're going to talk to you today about the full moon lunar eclipse happening on Sunday in Pisces. And for me, this is the Hazel moon. And what we divine comes from that, as well as filling your head with other things, other wisdom gems that we have picked up since we last gathered. So, June, before we give everyone the exciting stuff about the moon, is there anything you have picked up that is worth sharing? It's always worth sharing everything you have to say, I'm sure, June, but something that would be
You have to pick. You have to pick. You can't fit everything in to this short little thing. So I made some notes because I was listening. I mean, this is does kind of revolve around the planets and stuff like that. Um, but
you gonna tell me about Pluto?
no, no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna. hmm.
While she's
No,
doing that,
things I've noticed. Things I've noticed.
okay,
Um, People are really. Well, the people I see anyway, there's a wide variety of people that I see. And across various different perspectives.
mhm.
And it's what is really interesting is that there seems to be an increase, like some people have said. I mean, Pam Gregory has said this, she's expecting this as well. And so maybe when you get told someone's expecting it, you look for it as well. But it seems like telepathy is on the increase. And there's a whole load of people, like I said, from a wide background and wide experiences over the past 5 years, if you know what I mean. People who have been questioning things for the last 5 years, people are only just starting to question things. And but all of them that I see are feeling very strongly that there is a big shift happening, whether they've been told by somebody like Pam or not. They feel it. And so I think that's quite interesting.
Well, I would say that that is possibly we can look to Uranus being in Gemini. So this Uranus is the power, the planet of higher kind of consciousness. It rules Aquarius.
Mm.
And so if you've got that higher consciousness energy is coming in Gemini, which is the ruler of the mind. So you've got this kind of mind expansion, which means that communication, because this is Mercury rules Gemini, Gemini is all about communication, Uranus being higher minded kind of thought processes and from the upper levels coming in, the two combined is going
Mm.
to allow for greater extrasensory perception, which is
I agree.
telepathy.
And also Heather Ensworth was pointing out the Pluto, Uranus, Neptune
Yes, trio.
relationship that is going on right now, and how Uranus is the higher part of Mercury, which again is about, communication and mind and stuff like that. And I think that's really worth looking at what she says about that. She's got that on her list of things, recent videos. Mm.
Yes, because this is all reflected in the tree of life. There's a kind of a tree of life used by the mystery schools that has the planets moving up. And like we have with the zodiac signs, I was just talking about to somebody about this morning, who I will mention, who's hugely interesting. You start the zodiac at Aries, so that's the first fire sign. Gemini is the first air sign. Aquarius is the third air sign. So that's why the ruler of Gemini, which is Mercury, is that grows into Uranus. There we
Ah,
have it like that. So you can look at the planets like that, like how they evolve. And that is reflected in this tree of life thing, which looks a bit like that with the sun and the moon in the middle.
I think I've seen that. It would be good if you could produce a picture of that
Oh,
at some
June. Yes, I
point.
will
Not
produce
now,
a
this
picture.
minute,
No,
but
I will take an action to produce a picture.
yeah, that would
Um,
I love pictorials, and I think a lot of people can relate to something more visual.
June.
Because at the same time, she says about Mars and Pluto, of course, being this in the same kind of relationship. Pluto
Yes.
being the higher part of Mars and Neptune being the higher part of Venus. And so it's like, oh, that I really liked that, the way she portrayed that. And it made me think about my ancestral karma and all that kind of thing, and which houses in my little birth chart she said, have a look to see where all those things are in those houses. And yeah, it's
And
so
then, yeah,
interesting.
and then you can work out what's going on in your life.
Mm.
That gives you that information. The guy I was speaking to this morning, whose name is Larry Cyprus, who is just phenomenally interesting. He's written a book called Give Your Head a Wobble. And basically, oh, you'd love him, June. You'd absolutely love him.
Already, I love him.
He's basically been studying the whole zodiac of Britain. And he
Mm,
says he has followed the work of, I'm going to be doing an interview with him next week too, because it's just so interesting to share it with you all because it's related to astrology and zodiacs, etc.
mm.
He said that there was a book written by, let me have a look, he that discovered about Glastonbury being the zodiac and basically uncovered that, but then stopped there. And he's taken it, his work has taken everything an awful lot further. And his premise in a nutshell is the fact that the world, all the countries in the world are living Gaia. They're all connected to one another and they're this living, breathing Gaia energy. And Great Britain is man-made. Ireland is a bit Gaia, but Wales, England, and Scotland are man-made and were man-made by giants and were the center of where the Egyptians came from. Apparently, you've got more DNA in common with pharaohs in this country than the people of Egypt do. And this is coming from the time where giants measured 1.8 meters, 1.8 miles high. So they created
That big?
women in, I know, in this
How big were their feet? I want to
sacred
know
and
how
everything
did they
else.
must have walked from Egypt. It's
Well,
like
this is it. Well,
three
they're saying
steps.
Egypt started here, and he
Wow.
produces these maps, and he can show you everything and how the constellation of the skies are mapped out in various parts of Britain, how the Celestine prophecy has this all played out, how the Isle of Man is where God emanates from, and the Arwen, and all this stuff. Anyway, I will put a link to his videos because he's done many of them after this conversation. But what he was saying, because he follows Pam Gregory as well, is
Mhm.
that Pam had said, because I knew about Pluto being retrograde, as is Neptune, as is Saturn, and I've seen this pattern because I've done the Astro-Pagan calendar for
Mm.
the end of this year to the beginning till October 31st next year. So I've seen the pattern playing out again of them all going retrograde at the same time. And what it means is that the power is with the people. So Pluto goes retrograde from September to November, apparently
Yes.
for the next 10 years, allowing this shift each time of more power going back to the people away from this elite. So I think that's
Mhm.
really interesting, and I certainly buy into it.
Yes, and you can certainly see this if you have a quick, and I'm not saying for people to go get drawn into disasters and go, oh my God, this isn't this terrible? Because there's a lot of really quite dramatic stuff happening. But we don't need to be afraid. Change is not something to be afraid of. It's a good thing. What is painful is that people are being hurt. You know, there's physical harm coming to people, and I know that some people are really putting themselves on the front line in that way. There's stuff going on in Indonesia. I mean, people are really, really annoyed and they're out in the streets demanding change. I don't know that I think really that going out in the streets is the best answer, but that might just be because I'm British and I'm kind of
Well,
holding back and doing all my commenting on online.
but don't we have something going on here on Saturday, the 13th of September? not this Saturday, the following Saturday, because I'm working.
21st.
No, the 13th. This Saturday's the 6th, the
Oh, yeah,
following.
that's right. Yes. Yeah, I'm a week ahead.
That is basically the march for kind of British culture, like for everybody to join and be proud to be British. And that's why the St. George's flags are going everywhere, which is a controversial subject, but we are going to cover it
Well,
because,
that is so interesting because it started in York.
yes, well, where wouldn't it? You
It
know,
was like,
like York is
what
such a
are these doing
sacred
here?
capital. Absolutely. And what it is about is not the far right,
Mm-mm,
not kind of, saying, oh, we're racist, we want to get rid of all the
mm-mm,
other kind of, um, ethnic people that now live in Britain. It's like, forget that. We're a multiracial country. In fact, we're man-made. We've always been multiracial, and
yeah, we
long may that
have.
continue. But it's
Yeah.
about having a culture that we can be proud of and protecting
Mm-hmm.
our rights and our lands and our people properly, which the immigration process or what's been going on with immigration has not been keeping people safe. And that is what this is a retaliation
Mm,
against. And I am completely for it because for me, with my political awareness, there's been too much stagnancy, too much looking the other way, too much distraction. And now people need to see this is really going on. This is your
mm,
countryside. This is your island. This is a magical place. So I'm
mm.
like, yeah, anything
Bring
that's
back the magic, I say.
well, this is what Larry wants to say as well. And this is what I've
Mm.
been talking to. I was speaking to another lady that had gone to a fantastic, in fact, two ladies that had gone to a fantastic 4-day fire community experience. But one of them was saying to me, I was conflicted because it was all Native American. And she said, I have a real connection with Native
Oh,
America, but here we are in Sussex doing
mm,
a Native American ceremony in the middle of the Sussex woods. And it's
mm,
like, and she's someone who's an expert in Celtic trees. She runs a business called Forest Moons. And she's like, I need that to be in there. And I was like, exactly. And this is what I was saying to
mm,
Larry as well. We need people, I would like people to understand how much incredible magic there is available to you in this land, as above and so below, but in this land. So,
exactly. So, two or three questions have just popped up here for me, but I'll come to those in a minute. The guy who started the flag thing in York, he's only 22. And he
wow.
seems to have done an awful lot of living in different countries over the last 5 years. So I'm not quite sure how he's managed to do that, what his history is before that. I want to look into that. But he's making no attempts to hide anything. He's not being secretive. He's being right out there. And he's getting people with cherry pickers to come and help him put these up. He's not putting himself in danger climbing up ladders, because that was the first thing I thought. How did anybody get up there? And were they with people who were going to catch him if they fell down? But he's moved them around, and people who are helping him have moved them around. And it's really interesting. A lot of people's reactions were, oh my God, it's going to result in clashes and it's going to result in violence. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why should it? And what else happened in York last week was a Chinese takeaway in one of the parts of York. It made the newspapers and all over Facebook, etc. Somebody went and daubed racist stuff all over the takeaway, and this lovely young man went and helped to clean it off.
Exactly, because it's not.
So, and he made the point, and I'm thinking it got out there. I'm hoping most people saw it and went, "Oh, I'll think again then about the flags." Because he said his thing is not about keeping people out. And the fact of the matter is that most of these people who are coming in are doing so because we messed up their homeland and they can no longer live there safely. I was talking to a lovely girl, a Kurdish girl yesterday, whose English is impeccable. I see a lot of the refugees at the thing I volunteer at in, well, a lot, maybe 10 every week, different ones. Some of them come back, and again, they're so appreciative. They've been under such stress. She came over on one of the boats. She's been working to get over here. She's been in Egypt, but she's working to get over here because she believes, and her fiance believes, that this is a safe place. I hate to break it to her. It probably isn't, but they believe that coming here is safer than staying where they were. And so they probably scraped together all the money to pay these
So,
scoundrels who run the boats. She said, I was sat next to some children who I thought were dead. She was convinced they were dead. They were not. They managed, it was a 7 hour boat ride. She's a lovely, lovely young woman. And you can feel the tension in their bodies. I've got people who've had so much damage, so much. I mean, they've been tortured as well. The Syrians, for example, the Kurds have gone through hell. But, she and I were of the same perspective that it has been things like, well, she mentioned certain what are they called? Oh, what's the word for them? Oh, extremist groups, shall we say, that have we know all know the names of because they've been plastered around the place for a really long time. I said, "Well, I do know that they have been sponsored by America." And she said, "Yes. Yes, we know this. We know
but
this."
for extremes of any persuasion are always set up. It doesn't
Mm,
matter which
mm,
end it comes in at. It's there to
mm,
kind of incite
mhm.
riot, incite conflict, to
And
really make
division.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And my feeling is with immigration is they need to allow some form of recognizing the skills these people bring and allowing
Yes.
them to work at that level, as opposed to saying, well, your skills don't mean anything over here because they're not of our British standard. It's like a lot of the
It's
people have got
ridiculous.
more skills. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like, that's fine. I'm cool with skill swapping. What I'm not happy about, which is what's happening a lot in the South, is just boats and boats of young men. And that is, a lot of people seem to think that's the perhaps they're bringing in for an army, for
Well,
some.
some people are saying that, and I don't know that there's any real evidence for
No,
that, but that
I
it
haven't come
feeds
across
that fear, right?
it does. And it's like, oh my God. And again, I think June and I would both say, be really careful what you listen to in
Mm,
terms of managing your own vibration, because if anything starts to make you feel really fearful and like under attack, you're going to be less helpful than if you have completely kept your orbit quite kind of, you've cleansed your orbit and kept it quite small, and you're just managing you and those around you. That's absolutely fine as well. Not everybody
mm,
needs to be out in the streets. That's It's a calling, isn't it, June? It's like
mm.
these people, we're all following our calling. This is what we're
Yeah.
interested in. June and I are called here to give you the Magic Human Show, to share what we know, to try and make you feel better and just
Well,
show you,
that's exactly it. And try and help people focus on the world we want.
yes,
Not keep looking at the one we don't want and thinking how awful it is, because so many people say to me, the world's going to shit.
no, it
And I'm
is.
going, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's going through a birthing process. Please just focus on what you want. People don't even know what they want because they're so caught up. And that's what I keep doing on a one-to-one basis. Focus on what you want to see happen.
It's because they're
Focus on
decommissioned.
being a loving person and sending love to people. And all I get is love back from these people. They're just lovely
They're just,
and
yeah.
grateful. And, it's just, oh, I mean, a Palestinian family came in a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen them since. I don't, no idea where they are. But I hugged, it was a grandmother, and she was possibly the same age as me, but looked quite a bit older. And she just, and I had a little tear, and she just went, "Oh," and she hugged me because they feel that. They're incredibly sensitive, emotional people. They've been through so much, and talk about ancestral karma. I mean, they have had decades and hundreds of years of stuff thrown at them. So, they're carrying all that too. And if I can just soothe them a little bit for 10 minutes, that's all I want to do. Because I feel like that love ripples out more than any fearful stuff that people are going, "Oh, keep them away from me." I mean, but I've just heard today that they're possibly moving them. They're staying in a hotel really near me, and I keep telling them, "Come to my clinic because it's really close by." And I do a Wednesday afternoon drop-in for free. You can come there and have more massages as well as the ones on Thursday if you want. There's no limit because they really, really need this. And we need it. We need
Oh,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
spread the
yeah.
love more.
That's beautiful, June.
Mm,
So, with that, we'll talk about the full moon now, because the full moon is quite interesting because it comes with a lunar eclipse.
mm,
And so, on a full moon, we often think about what we want to achieve. Whereas when we have a lunar eclipse, we have the darkness before the light. So we go light, dark, light. So this is really powerful for release and surrender. So do not try and manifest on this full moon. Focus on what you wish to release. Now, because it's in Pisces, and that is the final water sign, and that is ruled by Neptune, who is retrograde at the moment, you want to be thinking about deep, dark emotions. So the people I've seen this week have felt quite triggered or have been triggered when I've been seeing them. There's been a lot of, I thought I'd already dealt with that. And what I say to people whenever I hear that is, perhaps you have for you, but what about your ancestors queuing up behind you? So just be aware, don't feel frustrated that you haven't done a great effort in clearing things through. It's just the fact that it might be multi-level going back through the generations, and just be okay with that because it is what it is. It's not a reflection of the fact that you haven't put the hours in. It's just there's a lot of people you're working on behalf of. I find that really helpful. Yes, June.
mm.
Did you want
Yeah,
to
I
say
mean,
something? Because you looked pregnant with pause.
I did. I
Oh,
was just looking at the
oh,
notes I made.
what I wanted to say as well is because it's Hazel, that helps to dredge up. And if you think about dowsing, hazel
Yes.
wands, divining water where we think there isn't any. What is water? It is emotion, feeling, memory. So that's why with Uranus in Gemini, Jupiter in Cancer, which is all about the home, the family, how we feel loved, expansion around that, and becoming a bit more spiritual. So it's really good for time for ancestors to come in as we go towards autumn equinox, which is when we put our light side to bed and awaken our shadow side. You've got this whole kind of huge picture of energy that's going, come on, what's in there? What's dark, it's going to come up to be out and released, which is why you might be suddenly struck by memories of old and things you weren't expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, listen to your dreams for sure. And try and just take a moment before you become fully awake and start thinking about your day to just digest what your dreams were trying to tell you. Weird things been happening here. There is nobody in this house next door to me,
Right.
and I keep hearing
And how do you know there's
knockings.
nobody in there?
Nobody there.
How long for?
Oh, just like somebody's tapping a little nail into the wall.
No, how long has it been empty?
Oh, all summer. The
Right.
students left. The students left in June, and there's
They'll
been
be
a
back
million.
now, won't they?
Well, there should be. I mean, it's a normally a student house, but there's nobody there.
Wow.
No. Somebody's trying to get my attention, and I keep going. When I go to sleep, I'm trying to do what Pam suggests, invite my dreams to tell me stuff, because you've got to consciously do that, I think. They will come in anyway, but I think it helps. But what Heather was saying about Venus and Neptune and the whole dissolving our attachments and stuff like that, and connecting with the higher octaves and connecting with divine love.
Hmm.
That's
Yes.
the love vibration on there.
And at Circle this week, I pulled a love card and it said, it's being being about love is you don't fall in and out of love, you are love. It's like you
Yes,
get to that vibrational place and everything is welcome.
yes, yes, yes. Well, yes, she talked about the myth of Eros and Psyche as well, which is quite interesting. I think that was in her full moon um, episode that she did that, not in the
Who,
Pluto.
Heather or Pam?
Heather.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she says, and it goes back to 12,000 years ago when we previously had this conjunction, by the way. This is the thing. This is the whole Atlantis connection, the 12,000 years ago stuff, which is it's awesome. Awesome
Well, the
times.
zodiac cycle is about 24 to 25,000 years. So 12,000 would be halfway through.
Hmm.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Well, there's all these things, isn't there? Always. Everything it's layered, layer
Mm,
upon layer of
mm.
information. And it's interesting what you get drawn to in order to appreciate I guess, to, I won't say embellish, but to deepen your experience of your journey here on Earth.
To try and understand it.
Mm.
That's what our job is, I think, is to try and make sense of it, not just blunder through life. Although some people seem to coast because they're having an easy time of it this time round, but most people are really struggling to understand what's going on for themselves and trying to find their way forward. But
Yes.
yeah, she said
I
seeing ourselves in new ways this time round as well.
because I haven't seen you since I went to the What the Truth Festival.
And I wanted to ask you about that. That was one of my little
Well, we'll
questions.
do that quickly, and then
Yes.
unless there's anything else, we'll disappear. But yes, that festival was really, really good. The people were really nice. There were lots of people there from York, and
Oh, did you see? You didn't see my friend Louise because she said she looked out for you, but she couldn't find you.
I
I
was
think she was
talking.
late arriving.
Okay, I only went on Friday and Saturday. So
Mm,
I wasn't there Sunday or Monday, but it was just lovely. The people were really, really nice. The presentations, I understand, were interesting. I don't go and listen to presentations when I'm working because I have to protect my vibration. And as an empath, I just can't risk anything interfering with my ability to read and support people. And I did
okay.
lots of that. And yeah, met some charming people. And I met this guy, Larry Cyprus, and he gave me his book. And, I'm gonna, as I said, do a live with him next week or an interview with him. And he's opened my brain up to a whole different level because he's combining my astrology with DNA, with magic. It's just like, it's like next level for me. So it's like, I think he's going to be a little bit of a teacher for a while. So I welcome that in.
Yeah, and
But
you probably have things to teach him too,
well, yeah, he's learning more
reciprocally.
about astrology because I'm like, oh, that rules this. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Where's he from? Whereabouts does he
He lives in the
hang out?
north, Runkton, let's have a look.
Runcorn? No,
Yes, Runcorn,
that's not north, is it?
isn't it?
I think it's in the middle. Oh, I don't know.
I
It's
think he,
north to you, south to me.
I know, maybe he said Manchester
Oh, okay.
or somewhere. He lives
Hmm.
somewhere. That's
Of course he
isn't it?
does. He's there somewhere.
I don't know. He did tell me,
Hmm.
and I don't think it's in the beginning of his book, but
Hmm.
it's a very good book. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway,
So you met people from York. Any of them my friends? No.
I
A
didn't.
lot of people in
See, I
York.
was saying I have a friend who has a shop in York, and I couldn't. They were going, "Where is it? Where is it?" And I couldn't remember where it was. And I was going, "It's called the Little Healing Shop," and
No, it's not. It's
I've
called
got
the
it
Healing
wrong.
Corner.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking because of our conversations
It
about
was
the
originally I was
shop of
thinking,
healing,
yeah.
yeah, like the little shop of horrors, the little shop of healing. That's what stuck with me, and I was like, it's something about healing. It's a tiny little shop. She's called June. So
Yeah, so none of them went, oh, because somebody was saying to me the other day that she mentioned me to them and she said my friend June and she said you don't mean June Tranmere, do you? She said yeah. And she said oh I've known her for years.
yeah,
It's
and
like that. York is like that, you
well,
know.
exactly. But next time they do anything, you should be involved in it.
Yeah, I would like to. I will be more settled. I'm still sorting and sifting and changing my working ways forward. I'm changing my I'm going to become a private association thing, my Bob's,
Okay.
as a business, and we're in the middle of Wellbeing in York is transitioning into a community support thing, which doesn't have an actual base, and it's not a CIC anymore. It's just a community association.
Okay, and you're going to become what's a private association?
That's where everybody is not really a customer. They're kind of they come to you as a member or a supporter. I'm not entirely sure. I have to look
Okay.
into this, but it's very attractive. And basically, whatever people pay you is a donation.
You need to let us
to
know
your
about
cause.
that.
And I'm already doing that anyway, so I thought, well, I might as well do it officially.
We'll
Yeah.
look forward to hearing more about that next time.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I've decided to do three Touch for Health introduction classes afternoons in these next few weeks, which is why I can't do anything on September the 13th because I will be in my little clinic shop place teaching people the basic self-balancing techniques. I'm not calling it self-care anymore because that's just so overused. It could mean anything and everything, right? So, so now Touch for Health is specifically about self-balancing. And
And
so all of the eyes and the ears and the cross crawl and the stuff, getting people doing it more. I made a whole bunch of videos in one day, just plowed through them. And I look at them now, I think, oh, they could be better. But, they're there now. They're there now. And
yeah,
people are looking at them. And I send people to go and look at them because I show them in the treatment room. But then they go home and they need somebody to talk them through it a bit more again so that they get into the practice so their body remembers the motions. Eventually, once you repeat something often enough, you just remember it. So, yeah, busy showing people the meridian brush, you know. It's great. Yeah,
and
I
she'll put
love
a link
doing
to her
that job and
videos in this.
teaching. Mm,
We'll have a link to your videos under this
okay.
episode, so you can drop me the links. All right, everyone. See you for the new moon, which is on
In
the, will be
2 weeks.
on back on the 19th of
Yeah.
September. So we'll look forward to seeing you then and enjoy the full moon and let go.
Bye.